Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing RE4 on professional difficulty. This is my no damage guide. We're on chapter 3-2. For me it was a level of hell, a level of revelations. The enemy coming up here is called the Novistator, from the Spanish word unseen, because he's hardly visible. But when I learned what this enemy drops, how he drops, and how the drop is related to how you kill him, my mind was completely blown. And I had to tip my hat to this game as being probably one of the finest and most detailed third-person shooters that I've ever played, ever. So when I looked online, let me just talk about this here, because you need to go near to the ladder and then get a rifle shot at this guy. We're a bit too far away for the shotgun to have efficacy, even though we have the riot shotgun and it deals damage well at distance, but that doesn't mean it staggers enemies well at distance. So when you kill this guy, you'll notice that the other one, if you stand at the same location, it will just run into the wall right as it's doing right there. But according to some online details, the eyes that this enemy drops, and which you put into the butterfly lamp, like I said, save it before you go into the next room. Go back and save it at the save door. The next room coming up is very difficult, but the eyes can be sold separately, but like I said, you want to put them in the butterfly lamp, which you get in a moment. And according to the online bestiary that I found for this enemy, if you kill one of them and they haven't been detected, if you kill one of them and they haven't detected you, it says that they drop the blue eye. If they are killed after being detected by the player, they drop the green eye. If they are killed while attacking, they drop the red eye. That's incredible. It's a small thing, but sometimes small things go very far. That kick that I did, I don't know how that's prompted. I think it's the X button. But you notice that once the first one drops from the center of the room, you'll have the other one coming out of this jail cell here. And then when you come in here, this one's really tricky to kill, because what they do is that I think they start drooling, and then they throw their drool at you. And it's difficult because there's no like that right there. That killed me so many times, and I just barely scraped by with a victory. But what I was finding here, shotgun to down them, and then TMP to slay them. So just absolutely incredible. I don't want to start uttering about a bunch of profane terms, out of joy, because I think that it should be a delicate balance of profanity, and I think I've been swearing a bit too much. Not that I don't care one way or the other, but it does come off as unprofessional sometimes. So, like I said in 1-2, there's no bullshitting here. So before I went into the next area, there's an edit right there. Now, did I have to tell you that? Of course not. But did I want this guy to be transparent and honest? Yes, more than anything. So when you come in here, this is the butterfly lamp into which you put the eyes. And if you put the 3 colors of the eyes into that lamp and you sell it to the merchant, you get the most money. And I think it's 32,000, man. It's a lot. So when you come out here, head to the left, tripwire point's right there. Drop him with the riot gun, switch to the TMP, and if you can do this really quickly, you can take him out. But it's now the ones that fly, that doesn't fly with me, man. That's just, I think that's bordering on unfair, because I don't know how I'm going to do that section that's coming up later in the game when there's a bunch of flyers and no way to save it or checkpoint it. But there are 3 of these enemies left, and we got some green eyes and a red eye. Okay, See, I thought these drops were completely random, and then when I looked online at the bestiary, by the way, this guy comes out right there. But when I looked online, it was that moment of having that epiphany and that knowledge just flooding my memory banks. But this guy's going to drop right here. Sometimes with this, all my deaths usually are from the jewel throw, or if these guys get out of your control, it's extremely hard to locate them. And if you don't know where they are, you're screwed, because they know where you are, because you're the priority in this game. Now, this, I'm usually comfortable with this. So you open the cage, walk up a bit, turn around, and then this guy will drop over here. And since I did get all 3 of the eye colors from the drops, it wasn't by any grand design, because as you can imagine, I didn't know that it was controlled. It was dictated by your actions when you kill them. I went back and saved it, so there will be another save another edit right there. So now I'm going to combine this. You notice that I have quite a few of these, and they can be sold. They can be sold individually, and this is the finished product. Anytime the merchant says, "I'll buy something," and then ellipsis at a high price, that's when you know that you get the most money for your product. Also, you can also manipulate the snakes in this game, because they drop normal eggs, brown eggs, and golden eggs. You want them to drop the golden egg because that gives it's like 20,000 or 10,000. It's great, but I would save before I go in here, because this trap of torture, I don't know if they checkpoint it, because sometimes it's just not a green lettered door that gives you the save. Sometimes they just checkpoint it randomly. So, okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to be really aggressive down here. Equip your grenade, and what you want to do, we're going to kill everybody down here. Our number 1 goal is to kill the red cloaked Illuminados, because he has a pendant around his neck, which you don't need to progress in the story, but it gives it's either like 20 or 30,000 for this pendant that you get from him. And each of the other Illuminados, they drop a spinel, which are 2,000, and there's a ton of them down here. There's also another Illuminados pendant later in the game from one of those guys, and I'll be going for it. So we're now back into the room that had the gun shooting gallery, the typewriter, and now we're going to unload all of this cargo, and it's a hell of a lot of money that you can make back. Now anyway, this first section here, I see the main issue here, you don't want the red Illuminados to jump on the turret. That means he needs to be cut off. That is, you need to cut him off before he gets to the turret. There is a way. So anyway, shoot this barrel. That will kill this one. And this is a very by the numbers section. It doesn't require much luck. It's not tricky. The section that's coming up after this is just pure torture, and I truly hated it. But there's just a couple of guys here. Now, you may have noticed a little glinting necklace on the red Illuminados. It isn't another pendant. What it is a key that we need to progress. The barrel that I neglect to shoot here has nothing in it ever. Now, we are going to be coming back to this location to assassinate the red Illuminados. Now, when I say by the numbers, I say I say that because there isn't much that deviates here, except the last part is very intense, because if the guy jumps on the turret, I've had no luck taking him down, because he's on a machine gun, and one touch is it's just game over. But he fled for some reason, but it doesn't matter, because you'll be able to cut him off. So when you take out, see, I only take out the right archer, then come over here. No one will aggro. Shoot this barrel. It will kill the guy to the left and damage the guys to the right. But in that cutscene right there, which I left in for to explain something, the remaining enemies, they're running towards you during that cutscene. If you're fast enough, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry for trying to stutter there, but I just wanted to point that out, because you don't want to get too complacent during that cutscene. Just skip it and then start moving away, or start aiming. There's, I think, 4,000 in cash over here, but it's really stressful to take this guy down, because he has a lot of HP and he's a runner. He constantly flees from you. You might even be able to take a pop shot at him here, but if you jump down here, he has to come out of this room. So if you enter this room, you have to really be on your mark here. Shoot him down and just keep pumping lead into him. Like, down him. Even throw a grenade if you have to. I mean, if you're really struggling, this took me about 5 tries to get this guy, because he's so much of a flighty guy. But this is the key that we need. There will also be around the corner an enemy who, if you don't go up too far of the stairs, that sounded pretty poor, but he won't aggro, so you can kind of just shoot him around the corner, and then that's the last guy. But just make sure he doesn't get in a sloppy hit on you. That's difficult, but just like there's nothing unfair about it. There's nothing that requires any luck or anything like that. And even though the maze gardens will be the conclusion of this chapter, I just want to make it very clear that even though it's difficult and horrific, the maze gardens, that is, there's nothing about it that's unfair. And I'll have some points of evidence regarding that, because sometimes the dogs, they will have the La Plaga, like flailing and trying to hit you. Sometimes it just hits you like very quickly. Other times you're going to see a point at which a dog is pretty much just waiting behind me, waiting. It's as though the game was being so considerate as to let me turn around before the dog would attack. And I just thought, it's beautiful. But anyway, I got so sick and tired of this room here. The main reason is because it's kind of indiscernible how it operates. But I hate to have advantages on here only because of the luck factor, but I did get kind of fortunate that some of the archers made bold to come into this room and I could execute them. But one hit and it's just over if you're doing no damage. Professional, if you're doing just standard professional where you heal, you can just see this guy to the right. That's the first time he ever came in here. And the other archer came in here too, I believe. But this room it's unfair. It's just unfair because of the arbitrary and completely capricious way that these arrows can hit you. But look at this. Look at even though I say that, look at that. The fairness of that. Of being able to shoot an arrow out of the air and it drops and you don't take damage. That's the essence of fairness. And it's just that irony here of that kind of fairness with the capriciousness about which I spoke. But yeah, This game is just, it's so incredible. Just the depth of my respect is profound. It's extremely profound. Because it's just true. They don't make games like this anymore. Do you think this game needed a day one patch? No. This is a Mercedes. Like the games that are coming out of late, and I know this might be just an international thing. International viewers might not know the car kind of metaphor, but like you're given the crummiest car these days that barely works and that needs an immediate. Look at that I almost swore there, but look at that shit. Who cares? It doesn't matter about swearing. God, the contrast is pretty striking here. So bottom line, they checkpointed in this. Well, they checkpointed in the previous room, but after the puzzle, so it's very, very nice in that regard. So, fuck you, motherfucker. That's what I'm thinking when I'm getting a nice headshot like that. But when you come up here, enemies are going to start RPGing. But the nice thing about it is they get one rocket, and then what do? They just stand there waiting to be slaughtered. So we're going to go the circumlocutory route. That is to say, we're going to go a very methodical course here, because there are going to be a couple more scenarios where enemies, you see those little corner cabinets, those swivel open and they have archers. And then when you come over here, see the order in which you press these buttons is you press the button that's going to be coming up on this wall over here first to deactivate the alarm system. And then that platform raises in the center. And then these guys pop out, and you could actually use these guys to kill other ones, but I would make sure that you ensure that you make just prioritize your own survival is what I was trying to fumble my way into saying right there. Now, what happened there is what I imagine is they shot the RPG and it just collided. See, they're bereft of their RPGs now. They're just standing there, so that's really nice. But there are some archers, I think, left. If there aren't, there are some ground-based foes coming. There's a nice critical right there. 2 criticals. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just that, they have very, very, very little HP and you always get a critical. So now, when you get this far, just shoot these guys. Because what they do is they throw that weapon. And I had an interesting conversation. See, one of the reasons, I have a couple of reasons that I'm playing this game. One of the main reasons was I was really impressed by the Seraphim 17's guide. Like, when he introduced his guide, it was one of the best introductions I've ever heard. He said, "This is, hands down, one of the best games ever made. Ever." And that just stuck with me, because he was basically echoing what my brother's always been telling me, that this game is like one of the finest games ever made. My brother is just a big Resident Evil fan. He's actually trying to go through a Kumu difficulty right now because I said that I did it, and he can't live with himself until he does it. God bless his heart. And he just sent me a text earlier saying that he got through the chapter 6 rooms that start that level where there's no checkpoint, and he told me it took him like a few hours to do, and it's just a nightmare without a checkpoint there. But he's the kind of person that wouldn't watch my walkthroughs because he's very stubborn about, he doesn't watch content, he doesn't want to be directed, he wants to do it his own way, and I understand that. It's futile to shoot these birds. I thought they were actually dropping something, but they don't drop anything. what actually happens is there is a fountain coming up. Did I also mention that you should be manipulating the snakes in this game? Anyway, a spinel, is that a spinel or velvet blue? So yeah, that's my motivation, and I don't think I'll have time enough to mention the tangent that I wanted, because I had an interesting conversation. Well, conversation is a bit of a stretch to describe a Twitch interaction today with the Godfather Dictator, who I really love that guy. He's better of a player than I'll ever be, but there's nothing wrong with that, because you can always try to be better, and it's not a contest, for God's sake. I admire his ferocity in these games. But I do need to talk about this. I'll do the tangent in another video, because this is I did not save it at any point. So the edits that I did earlier, I wanted to do penance again, because I felt bad that I saved it on those insects earlier in the sewers. But this dog always comes first. This does remind me. The Seraphim 17 remarked that this is reminiscent of Castlevania 64 with the dogs and the Frankenstein monster chasing you with a fucking chainsaw. Man, that's exactly what this reminds me of. I don't like Legacy of Darkness. I don't like the changes that they made in that game. Now, I don't think these dogs ever come out, but they might. So throw an incendiary grenade in there and shut them up. But this is truly, truly horrifying. But it isn't unfair. And I'll show you exactly at what point that entered my mind. Now, I'm going to be getting all the treasures. Okay, so when you open the box, this dog is going to come at you right here. And I don't go in any extremely good order over here, because this is a maze. People get lost in mazes. And I didn't want to have to keep making a bunch of edits and looking online for the exact, turn right, turn left, go straight, go left, go left again. I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted to do this spontaneously. But when you come down here, I would equip a blinding grenade or a flash grenade, because you're going to have more spawners when you drop down here. This is where we already were with the dog coming to the left. So what's going to happen is, I think you're going to get a dog coming. Also, if you try to backtrack out of this area when you're dealing with the dogs, they can go through the fence, so it's fruitless. So cast a blinding grenade, turn back, and down these guys with a shotgun. See, if don't just stay in the middle right there when you do the blinding grenade or the flash grenade. Just come back here, because you're going to be trapped between two dogs, and with the mobility of this game being such, with tank controls, I'm also going to be shooting barrels with a gun from now on. He's too slow with a knife, so I can't tolerate it anymore. But this never deviates, you guys. Now this dog, if you come too close, he'll jump out, so we're going to TMP him. But this, even though this doesn't deviate, it's still difficult because of all the twists and turns, and sometimes you don't go in the right, the order that you want to go in, or the order 1886. It's not even a fucking game, but the order that you just go in different orders because of you twisting and turning. You go all over the place. So what I wanted to do was just go a certain course, and then if anybody needs to follow it exactly in my footsteps and get all the treasures, survive here, you can. So you'll have this guidance. Now we need to prepare for the next dogs over here. I'm not sure where they're coming. So you may see, okay, this dog will jump out of this. And they go down pretty quick. Okay, now let's see what happens over here. It's hard to memorize okay. Definitely pick this up. But you see, if you don't want to get the treasures in the next chapter, you can come back here when there's no dogs, and it's a really serene, calm experience. But I didn't know that they would permit that, but they do. So our objective here is to get the two shards of the stone and put them together to get out of here. But this is important over here because there's like 3 dogs, so you may want to use a don't use a grenade, because you'll need a grenade in the next chapter. But these dogs are going to come like right around this corner over here, and it's difficult to contain 3 dogs, especially when they have the La Plagas over their heads. So there's the first one, and I believe. Oh fuck! Did you see that shit? The dog was giving me the consideration to turn around. Rewind that and watch that again. That's why I said this is not unfair. There's nothing unfair about this. Is it difficult? Is it hard and horrifying? Yes, it's all of those things. Is it unfortunate sometimes that they're La Plaga parasitic, head thrashing things or hitting you before you can react sometimes? Yeah, that's a little cheap, but I'll never think that I'll never think that this is not unfair just because of that dog right there, just waiting for me, as though, just waiting for me to get ready, and then we'll fight. Oh, this is important here, though. These are the dogs that come out. There's like 3 of them. Are there 3 or 2 or 3? Yeah, don't mess around here. 3. Whoa, 4? Holy shit. Damn, man. But I think at this point, the dog snarling sound effects subsided, which told me all the enemies are cleared. So now we can look at that. Did you see that? The humor of that? The dog or the wolf on the ammunition right there. If that's the game's idea of humor, that's a little bit in poor taste. I understand that. I don't like that. Take care.